I feel like Okay.
Whoa!
Master.
That was not what I was expecting in the slightest.
Yeah, thank you for that tangent for no reason.
Yeah, they're going to ban Terrorblade. If they don't ban Terrorblade now, you can blame me, but
Okay,
I'm pretty...
fantastic.
Okay, so they ban the Anti-Mage. They're going to ban probably Anti-Mage, Void, Terrorblade, something like that.
Yankees, talk to me about Brew.
I do like the Brew versus, like, I generally think Brew is like a, I don't know, B or C tier hero. I don't think it's that good. I think a lot of people overrated it after the buffs to the ultimate.
Yeah.
But the ultimate still has a massive cooldown. Like, that's still the problem. But when you're fighting into a Warlock and a Spectre, do you really care? You're going to have your ultimate when they have their ultimates, as well as you have this this Purge on Illusions, so the Haunt, and then as well as the Warlock summon. I think it does like at least 60-70% damage to the Warlock summon. I'm pretty sure.
It does 1,000 damage to summons.
It does a lot of damage to the Warlock Golem, so it's a good counter to these two heroes. But I don't think it does anything in the laning stage versus a Spectre Warlock. I don't see how you would need
toss the Golem?
Can you what?
Tornado the Golem?
Yeah, I think so. It's not magic immune, so.
Okay. Until
But
the talent.
Still, laning phase is hard for Brewmaster. He suffers a lot.
Yeah, he's not the greatest.
I am shocked so far that they're not considering Terrorblade. I think with Brewmaster in lane, they might go like Venge Terrorblade as their second round.
If you say Terrorblade one more time on the downs.
Maybe I'm missing something. I feel like this hero's like super busted, and I've seen it a lot in EU too, so it's not like my NA bias coming. I think...
I don't know, dude. You know carry players, though, it's like, people will be like, oh yeah, it's Spectre Terrorblade. Like, that's an overrated matchup. Like, Terrorblade's not that good against Spectre. Like, Spectre owns TB. Like, it really depends on the mentality of the Spectre player in this game. You know, it's like mid players too. It's like, oh, Void Spirit dumpsters Ember Spear, and then Ember Spirit players are like, oh, Ember Spirit just craps on Void Spirit. Like, it just depends on what they think. Because Spectre does have like tons of pure damage. It's difficult to like sunder the actual Spectre.
I don't think the Spectre Terrorblade matchup is all that bad. I'm just saying that I think Terrorblade and
Is a
Spectre
hyper
are,
carry?
like, two of the like if I'm saying Terrorblade's just one of the best carries right now, and it's like decent against Spectre. There's like so many carries right now that you don't even want to pick against Spectre. Like, they just don't feel good at all. So for me, it's not about the fact that he hard counter Spectre. It's like, hey, he's pretty decent against Spectre.
Okay.
And it's like good with our lineup, so that's why I would pick it. I feel like if you wait for the carry pick till like super late in the draft, it's not going to look any better than it does now. Like, no matter what they pick, your carry will be about the same pool of heroes anyways. Maybe I'm mistaken, but for me, I feel like the reason why Spectre and other carries are so viable to pick first round is because they're just so much better than these other carries that their game is going to be decent enough that, hey, like, you'll see like Chessie last game, you know, they 10th pick his hero, he goes crazy. And that's all because they first rounded the Spectre, and then he gets a later pick in the draft, has a more situationally strong pick. And that's the power of like having these hyper carries that is like, we'll just pick him first. And even if it's not the perfect Spectre game, it's
like
still a Spectre.
Everybody's kind of playing around you too, so it's more like your team's job to, if you're countered, they kind of, I don't know, it's like impossible to counter. How do you counter a Spectre? She just gets like 3 or 4 items and kills.
Oh boy, always
Spectre's
this stuff.
so annoying.
You analysts, you know?
I hate Spectre.
It's so defeat.
I love winning with Spectre. My win rate this patch is like 85%. I'm not exaggerating with Spectre, but like it is just so freaking annoying.
My strat for pubs has been I pick Veno and then I say any Spectres, and then somebody picks Spectre, and then we win.
Is that the counter? The Veno?
No, like I'm saying, like, yeah,
thing.
I don't care what they have. Honestly,
okay,
I've noticed a lot of this in this tournament as well. Is a lot of people seem to be picking for just comboing their draft and almost totally ignoring the enemy draft. Like they just pick stuff that's good against anything together. Like they're more, I guess people are more focused on synergy than they are on counters.
Well, some teams
right
have
now.
always traditionally been like that, but we have been seeing that a lot in the meta with these very, like, these are good heroes kind of things.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't worry, Ice Frog will fix. Trust in the frog. It's coming. Hopefully not during the tournament.
It's telling me a lot more.
Lion!
They go the... Okay, this is a misery hero, it feels like. Like, only teams with misery on them pick Lion. Even if he's not always playing it, it's like, I don't know why. He just seems to have this bias towards Lion. It makes the game easier if Lion's allowed to play. Jug, another hero that's pretty decent against the Spectre. The healing ward's really nice for your entire team. Spectre's biggest issue is the opponent can kind of just like 5-man down lanes and just take objectives, especially when Haunt's on cooldown. Like the game plan of Jug is good against Spectre, so it's whether or not they can get that game plan online. They have really early tempo with the support Enchantress.
Yeah.
The Brewmaster is going to buy all the pipes and the Vlads and all this stuff that helps the rest of the heroes kind of just build whatever the hell they want to build. The Lion gives them some pickoff. I think their game plan is pretty well-rounded right now on the side of 5-man, and I think for NaVi it's going to come down to, okay, I think we're going to win the fights if we get 5-on-5, if we push our buttons. We have Warlock Spectre. That's like always the case. But what can we do during the downtime? Like, how do we deal with this Jug hitting buildings? How do we deal with Brewmaster running at us?
I think they need some sort of like persistent fighting guy in the off lane. Some, I don't know, Centaur or something like that. I mean, it's not particularly good against the Juggernaut, but they definitely need somebody that just isn't playing off of cooldowns and somebody who also has some
like Underlord
form of disable. Yeah, Underlord would be good.
Underlord, or if you want to go like the pick-off route.
It's a bad matchup,
Legion.
though. Legion would be amazing. I love Legion here, actually.
I think Legion's a super good hero, but I think she suffers the same problem of them like 5-manning down a lane, though. That's my only concern of Legion right now.
You can max the Q. You got Fade Bolt. You know, I think it's deal withable. I really do like the Lion pick from 5-men. Just in this particular draft, like I normally hate Lion. This is a hero who goes 3-17 in pubs. Like he's the biggest feeder in the world.
Yeah,
but when you have some of these players on your team,
many times on many different heroes, am I right, Slex?
Shut the hell
Sorry
up,
for interrupting.
it's okay. No, that was definitely very important to get out there. But good disable for the Spectre. Like you can pick her off before she gets the hunt off. She's really hard to kill unless you have a lot of lockdown. And then also, it's an illusion killer. Like they have so many ways of dealing with the Spectre Haunt right now. You can like enchant a Manta illusion with the Enchantress. You can kill the illusions with Brewmaster. You can use any of Lion spells on the illusions.
Now, I'm going to say something here that many might consider stupid, but only the elite will think it's not. Maybe they're focusing too much on Spectre. Because, as you said, they got illusion killers, they got the Brewmaster to deal with that, they've got all this stuff. They're not playing their own game, they're falling into the Spectre trap. Is that not as dumb as it sounded?
No, I don't think that's that dumb. Do you
There's
think that's
reason
dumb?
to that. Yeah, there's.
It's like I want to say it's dumb because you say it in a funny voice, but
Yeah, the way you said
It's
it.
just my voice, Jenkins.
I'm sorry about that.
Continue.
I mean,
He can't change that.
No, I've tried.
I can relate.
The surgery went completely the opposite direction.
Really?
It just went higher. Yeah. Every day I wait for puberty, and it never comes.
Do you go to one of these like herbalist doctors where they like new medicine?
Can I go off on a tangent about my wife, by the way?
Yeah, go ahead.
She brought home a crystal a couple weeks ago.
Oh no.
She said it was a money crystal. I said, the only person making money off this crystal is the asshole who sold it to you. What is a money crystal?
She didn't buy it from Gwyneth Paltrow, did she?
No.
Okay.
No, luckily for us, our house doesn't smell like that.
Okay.
But no, she rubs the crystal and says that...
That sounds like it could be a.
All right, let him finish. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't know where this is going. There's suspense here. What happens with this crystal?
We'll get back to it after we talk about Queen of Pain, but we've made no more money. Don't buy crystals and rub them, expecting things to happen, people.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
That's good advice.
That's good advice. BSJ. Now talk to me about QWOP.
Well, I'm just going to say out of sheer stubbornness, I refuse to go for Navi's draft because they drafted the exact 3 cores that 5-men had last game. So
Well, maybe they learned something
I'm
after
just
getting
gonna say
whipped
this
by
is like some copycatting shenanigans.
shenanigans.
And I'm not a fan, even though it is a really good quad game. So.
Oh, Dragon Knight. Speak of not a fan.
I think that NaVi did a really good job of addressing like this whole long cooldown problem they had with picking these like mobile, low cooldown cores last 2 picks.
Yeah.
But, man, I think 5-men just looked like the better team last game, and I think they're gonna do like the whole. Yeah, the odds are now favoring NaVi according to Slacks.
Well, hold on. Let's not confuse the audience here. Everyone knows that the smaller number equal better money.
Yes.
So 5-men are favored by our odds, EGB.com.
I'm going to go for 5-men this game just because I think their game plan is like super high tempo, super low cooldowns, constant pressure, and the QWOP and Void Spear are going to have a lot of weight on their shoulders, and there's some beefy heroes. Jug's hard to kill, Brew's hard to kill, DK's hard to kill, and then if they ever overextend slightly, the Lion's going to punish them pretty hard. So I'll go for 5-men. Please don't let me down. I don't want to start the tournament 0-2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jenkins.
I think I would also go for 5-men. I just think that they looked like the better team by a pretty big margin. You know, I wasn't able to catch their run through the qualifiers, I believe, where they were stomping, so I wasn't exactly sure how good that they looked. But against NaVi, they looked very solid last game. So I feel like they're just better.
All right. Well, we have had many good times discussing it here on the top of Mount Olympus, but now we must throw it down to Hades, where the little demons are frolicking around. Please enjoy our demonic casters, Capitalist and the Fago. Enjoy. Hades, bring them to...
Hey, thank you. Hades here with my good friend Thanatos. Isn't that your dog's name?
Thanos.
Thanos. Okay,
which is inspired off of Thanatos,
True.
actually. The spirit of death.
Oh, very nice. Well,
A good dog name.
good. Yeah.
Anyway.
Not sure about that one, but we'll just keep on moving to this game 2 of 5 men versus NaVi. Do you agree, though, that 5 men just looked like the better team? Because they sure as hell whomped on NaVi in that game 1.
Yeah, I mean, overall, everything looked better. The way they set up their lanes, the way they moved, the way they itemized, like, just overall, it seemed like they just had a better grasp of the current patch and just what could happen. And I see their lineup, and they drafted heroes that they're very comfortable with. They love their Enchantress, they love their line, they like their Brewmaster. So, yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and I hope that at least NaVi puts up a better showing for one person in particular. I want to see Young G show up a little bit more. Otherwise, he may not make 6 months on this roster. The game 1 was pretty rough. So hopefully he'll be able to do a little bit better in this game 2. As we get underway, and our analysts are now allowed to leave Mount Olympus, descend down with the rest of us mortals.
Our analysts and Slacks. Slacks, are you good? He's working on it. You're blocking the whole screen.
It was an excellent Palpatine impression earlier, by the way.
He's doing really well. So I'm seeing, just at quick glances, I see a pretty fast-paced lineup coming out from 5 men, right?
Yeah.
They open up with a Spectre and a Warlock, which very slow-paced, right? These are just, we're going to sustain in lane, and then we're going to get to a point where we get to late game, and these two are like the late game, late game kings at team fight, if they can get to that point. But yeah, I really do think that 5 men, they're going to really press the issue forward here, and they do have some great ways to address that Spectre, like Panel mentioned. Lion, he can get rid of the illusions. Brewmaster can easily get rid of the illusions. Enchantress can easily take over the illusions. So, looks like they've got their planning set.
Zibbe pops the Drunken Brawler, goes back in, doesn't quite get the bounty rune, though. So it is going to be just a 2-2 split.
Yeah, and the other thing, I really like this Brewmaster pick, actually, for a couple reasons this game. I love the Dispel, as we were mentioning. It's now buffed as well, because Wind Panda has an insane amount of mana, so you can actually use that constant Dispel to get rid of illusions, do a lot of damage to the Golem, get rid of Fatal Bonds, get rid of Shadow Word Pain. Really strong. But also, one thing that always was my big gripe about Brew is making sure he can get away with his lane. And I feel like now you can do that pretty easily, especially if you're versus like Spectre Warlock. They're not going to pressure you that hard.
No, that is definitely a very defensive lane in nature. One of the classic Spectre lanes, right? It's like Warlock used to be one of the best
Pasha.
babysitters in the game. Pasha
dead, I think.
certainly in some trouble here. Oh, Ace kind of missteps there. And gets far enough away from Pasha that he couldn't really chase. Instead, puts the damage onto Immersion.
Ooh, I think they may have had him there. Would have been really close, because he did have the Fairy Fire as well, but yeah, could have made a missed kill opportunity there for Ace from that.
That was a mid-lane matchup. DK versus the Queen of Pain. I feel like we've seen this matchup in several different patches now.
Yep. DK's fine. If anything, he wins. And Young G's really got to make a, like we said, we want to see him perform really well in this game in particular. Because he's kind of got to kind of set that tempo for his team.
My concern is he's put in a very similar situation. Oof.
Oh no!
Pro players not controlling their couriers, man! Misery with the double kill. Very nicely played. Well done cutting through the tree like that to get that last hit.
You thought to tame the lion? I like how he's spamming it before he even finishes killing the second one.
But yeah, going back to Young G, my biggest concern is it's very similar to game 1, right? Where he is put into a position where he's more of a tempo controlling mid, needs to move around, get kills, but he's up against a mid laner that will punish you by taking your tower once you leave.
Yeah. That's definitely tough. He's going to have to play this game. I mean, he's going to have to do a lot, though. Like we said, it's like Void Spirit is... I think Void Spirit should have a decent time down bottom, at least what it looks like, because they missed that first kill. He's now actually able to do something. So Pasha could make the game a little bit easier for Young G if he has a good start, because then he can be the more active guy. But yeah, he's a quap, so he's got to be able to make those moves around. Oh, double deny.
Well done.
I'm very surprised how low those CS on that Jug is. I guess just really going for that first kill just really messed him up.
Yeah, I feel like Jug is incredibly hard to outlast hit. His animation is really good. His damage is quite standard for cores in general.
Yeah, and it's like Fade Bolt in the past used to be very annoying at level 1, but it's changed the way it works now. It actually just scales better and is worse early. Nice TP by Immersion. Bait
Pulls him out of the lane, and TP's back as soon as the spin goes off. So Pasha got a little free CS time. Ace probably missed a CS or two there. What do you think about Enchantress, by the way? I was actually reading an interview with Celery. And one of the things that they were talking about was his idea of Enchantress versus puppies. And they actually have different skill builds. And Celery kind of commented it didn't go into too deep, but he talked about how he feels like he has a different idea than Puppy has for Enchantress.
Does Puppy max enchant, I'm imagining, or something like that? Yeah, because he's a farmer.
Well, no. He actually goes for the higher levels of the heal at some point in time. So he goes it's like 2-2, and then like at some point in time he'll get enchant and then max out the heal. Whereas I believe Celery goes 4-4-0. I think that's what it was. I couldn't swear to it though.
Huh.
But yeah, I was just curious. What do you think about this hero right now in general?
I mean, I don't like that 4-4-0 build at all personally, especially if you're playing like a 5-position role. I feel like your whole point of your laning thing is just to soak spells and then click your heal, and then it's like, oh, I got you, you know?
Yeah.
And then your enchanted just allows you to do so much in the game. At least when I watch Puppy, I'm looking and I'm like, where's the 5 Enchantress? I see a 3 Enchantress, but I don't see a 5 Enchantress, so there's different ways to play everything, right? That's the beauty of Dota, is like so many different weird things can work. As long as you play to the strength of it. If you're just trying to do the style and you don't have the right skill build, then sure, but if you're playing to that skill build style, then it can be nice.
Damn. Zibe and Misery they're just merciless in their attempt to just run down these denies.
Loving look at those last hits too on the Brew, like we were mentioning. It's going to be a lane where he gets a lot of farm in this game, and it's pretty important in this game for a Brew to get that kind of farm, because he has very good matchups versus so many of NaVi.
Once again, Chessie making the same maneuver. 5-minute bounties are coming up. He pushes in his lane. He runs over, takes the enemy bounty rune, and immediately TPs back.
Yeah.
This is his way to kind of combat, because normally mids will stay there to push the lane in first, but he just kind of abandons the lane, says, I'm going to let him push it in. I'm just going to TP back in time to get there.
This looks identical to what happened last game. This time, though, we see NaVi does have more aggressive wards down, so they can see these movements, but also, 5 men, they have wards down, so they're watching that move from that level 6 Queen of Pain. Now we see mid DK hits level 6, so he's going to look to pressure tower and not allow that Queen of Pain to actually move around as easily. And look, Enchantress already set up, so exactly the same rotations coming out from 5 men. They want to look for this tower in that mid lane.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And Ace is certainly a hero that they can leave alone for now. Let's see if NaVi makes any difference here. They gotta try and get some rotations here. A Centaur coming in from behind leads into a chain stun from Misery. But, okay, this time around, Immersion and Ilias, they will at least punish Misery, get the first blood, and they're not going to lose as much of their tower HP as they did last time.
Exact same rotation, though. They brought the 3. Even Misery makes the rotation over, and, ooh, that tower is
okay, I lied.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
It is pretty much dead.
That's a DK and a Siege Wagon for you.
Yeah. This time, though, we did see NaVi. They did respond with their 2 heroes, so nice rotations coming in. Not the best to respond, as most, of course, Warlock doesn't really contribute a whole lot, but their Spectre is getting good farm up top, so they can make these moves.
It's like they learned a little bit, but I feel like they still didn't react fast enough.
No, yeah, it seemed like it was a little bit too late. It was not the best, but at least able to get these kills up. Young G is able to pick himself those.
I feel like those kind of DK pushes are just kind of like a war of attrition, where it's like, as the defending team, your idea is to delay it like 2 or 3 dragon forms. Giving it up on the very first one is a pretty harsh blow.
For sure. And they do not really have like the best way to just push the creeps away though, right? It's really just like Rubik nuke, and then like Quap has to walk in kind of close to actually nuke the wave down. Top Crystallize, he's very low. Zibe
being left alone because his support had to make their rotation mid. Misery and Zibe, they take advantage of that.
Keep him at 0 mana. Misery, I believe that's 2 points in mana drain and only 1 point in the stun.
Yeah, and that's usually been a big problem for Spectres in the past. It's why we saw this really memey Meteor Hammer build recently. Everyone likes to get mana. And they're going to pop it here. Crystallize. He does have enough to be able to get the dagger out. If only he wasn't stunned for so long, but that drain. takes away the dagger opportunity into the trees. Misery spams once again, and good old 5 men. Another very successful rotation. It feels like, again, that's another story of this matchup, is that 5 men is putting the tempo always on NaVi. They're always the one making moves first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to comment on Misery right there. 2 points in mana drain, right? That actually just got them that kill, more than likely. Probably, maybe would have died anyway, but the dagger could have potentially saved him. A lot of times I feel like you see like, your pub teammate have 2 points in mana drain and only 1 in stun, and you're like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Misery made it work, as long as they play around it. Now they're reacting, but this tower is getting beaten down pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be one of those rotations. Maybe the team fight will work out for them, but the damage is kind of already done. They've lost their tower. They're going to pop out, try and catch this Brewmaster, but a beautiful stun from Misery. It's going to give a little bit of room. Zibe will manage to just TP away because the Rubik's too far out. In fact, he had already used Telekinesis, so they didn't have another stun to throw out in the first place. He could have TP'd immediately.
Yep. Oof. And that's pretty big, getting that tower. Now Spectre's game is a bit awkward. When you're playing in this position, you did not have a free farm lane. There's lots of ways for them to look for you and just to take out towers. You don't really have a home. Now, he doesn't want to really go bottom. Now he can't go top. Mid is probably the best.
Nice kill. Nice.
Great rotation.
But yeah, last time Ace was just chilling in his safe lane. He had a nice, comfy home. He didn't feel threatened. Even when they came to push his tower, he was like, I can still kind of stick around, and my team will probably TP in time. Misery in some trouble here in the top lane. Crystallize at least gets a kill to be able to make up for some of that last farm when he was kicked out of lane.
Jesse gets the farm. Yeah, this game, it's different because Chessie can't be as explosive, right? He's not this Void Spirit that just snowballs out of control. He's a DK. He's just going to click his ult, walk from lane to lane, and put that pressure on.
Worthy tribute.
We'll see how NaVi chooses to react to that, as they should be getting their level 6s on their big heroes pretty soon, that Warlock ult in particular. But yeah, both carries not having the greatest start.
Where are you on the stance of Juggernauts and how aggressive they should be? Because I feel like every Juggernaut I play with recently, granted this is NA, NA's terrible at this, but you know, it's like 15 minutes and nice kill. Young G just gets popped by the Finger of Death. That was so much damage from Misery, and gets the first stack on his Finger of Death as well. So there you have it. Juggernaut gets a little active. That's what I was basically leading to.
Rather than what? What do you get in your pub? Mask of Madness every game or something? Like?
Yeah, just not like, you know, Omni Slash has been off cooldown for 20 minutes, dog. Like,
yeah.
You want to fight or what? Immersion.
Ooh, pops his drum.
Let's breathe fire.
Just to get away there.
Yeah, just a little bit skittish that he was going to get caught, I guess.
I mean, look at mid. Look at this. Ace is hitting tier 2. They're hitting tier 2 top, too. So Jesse's like, they probably have to be making a move down bottom. So he jets himself away kind of quick. Now he's starting to poke himself forward as he's full HP again. And again, NaVi not able to make pressure at all onto those objectives. They can't actually look to set up onto towers, and 5 men are the ones continuously doing that.
Fortunately for NaVi, tier 2 towers are a lot harder to take. Spin out, though. They're not able to punish Ace whatsoever for his very deep positioning.
I'm really still really liking the moves by 5 men, though. Just they're playing this very aggressive style, and they're forcing NaVi to kind of react around all the time, rather than NaVi just being like, hey guys, we're going to group up and we're going to take this tower. They're constantly having to move back all the time.
As seen there from the Brewmaster, just kind of running at the quap.
Assert dominance.
To blink away. And while Young G may still be in that top 3 net worth, everybody else is falling farther and farther behind. And it's certainly concerning for, well, I guess it's kind of concerning for both. Spectre, sure, you're a carry, but also the Void Spirit, I feel like, is a hero that once you start getting under farmed, you can become really lackluster.
Yeah, I feel like they need to start making some some aggressive moves, especially around Pasha here. Misery hiding in the trees nicely.
You know he's somewhere, and they do catch him with the Aether Remnant. Zibe's here, though, and he's already gotten the chain stuns out onto Pasha. Pasha's going to try and double jump away, but there goes that stone boulder to catch him. Dissimulates to be able to dodge it, but he could still be tossed up in the air by the tornado and dispelled down as soon as they're ready for a fight. Another boulder thrown out, but the Wolm, it's going to go out. Nice Sonic Wave on through. Does a good amount of AoE damage. That Omni Slash getting completely soaked up by the Spectre Illusions. Crystallites was able to run down Misery, but Zibe's doing so much damage to him. The Breathe Fire over the top, and Chessie, right in the front of everybody, was able to turn around quickly, kill that Spectre. Got to be careful, though. Young G and Pasha, they still represent a lot of magic damage in the DK. Very susceptible to that. Gets hit by the Dissimulate. Ace comes back in with a spin. Pasha, who no longer has that Astral Step up, may be in trouble here, but a nice stun coming in with the Aether Remnant pull back that AoE damage from Young G helps get the double kill for Ilias.
Very nice reaction there by Navi. Great rock, getting the combo on everything. I love the way that golem looks as well, just the samurai golem coming in. But
super sick.
So much magical burst damage. That's the big thing I'm seeing coming out from Navi. They've got the Rubik Fable, even like a Spectre Dagger. They've Quap Scream and all, Void Spirits, nukes, all being high leveled because he's that offlane too. Heroes just got crushed down very quickly when they moved forward there. And I believe the Fatal Bonds caught on, I think, like 3 heroes.
Yeah, it looked like they were pretty grouped up when he managed to get off the golem bonds.
And he got it also on top of the Bruce Split. He actually killed off the Wind Spirit. I think he killed off the Fire Spirit too, and it was just the Earth one running away. Great moves there by Navi to respond, and maybe some slight over-aggression coming out from the 5 men on that Bruce Split, diving toward the tower.
That is something that 5 men will have to keep in mind this game, is the clear team fight that Navi has that is very strong. That being said, it's on cooldown now, so maybe 5 men can make some plays. It is that awkward stage where you're like almost winning too much. You know, where you're like, okay, we have this opportunity to go take an objective, but it's kind of too early to take tier 2s. You're already taking tier 1s. Young G, the combination isn't going to be enough. They need another crit, but Ace doesn't get it, and they actually steal Finger of Death. Ooh,
that's a big one.
That's
worried
spicy.
about some like Brewmaster splits getting off last second. Now you've got that instant burst. That's a very big steal there.
Do you keep Finger of Death stacks if you're Rubik and you get a kill? I think you do.
Unfortunately not.
Oh, really?
Unless they fix that. I know for a while it did not work. It gives you the little, you have like little icon, but then when you get the kills and then you get rid of it, they just disappear. Unless it was changed again, which is definitely possible. We see Pai's build. Yeah, he's got the 3 points in. 3 points in enchant, 2 in the heal, 0 in the actual impetus.
And once again, very aggressively positioning himself on the enemy side of the map, almost kind of daring the enemy team to jump on him. Half the time, you're not sure if this is a free kill or a bait. In this case, it's a bait, which Chessie tries to lure in Young G, but he's found that this was a 2-sided trap. Bounces back, Sonic Wave, not quite enough to finish off Chessie, though. And they have to start backing away. The Golden's getting dropped in, and that is enough to finish off Chessie. Probably get the kill on Pylai Die as well. Zibe. He should maybe be able to get out. Young G, he actually does manage to get in range of the Shadow Strike. That'll slow him down a lot. And there is that Void Spear coming in from the side. They're actually going to be able to catch Misery here. 1, 2, 3, and a 4th that will get away in Zibe. But still, another great team fight for NaVi. Another golem that just came off cooldown.
Perfect spot for it to come up, too. Just a bit too long of a wait there from 5 men, Navi able to get that one back up. And they didn't have to use everything either. They did have to use, you know, the Sonic Wave, the Stolen Finger, but they still have Haunt. They still have Void Spirit as well, who can make aggressive plays too for that Haunt. Now it's go time, right? 5 men, you've got your ults, you've got everything ready. You know they just expanded everything. I feel like you have to press the issue forward here versus the Spectre lineup. There is now an Orchid already finished up though on Young G. Nice Orchid game versus that Brewmaster in particular.
So what do you do when you're in the position where you're like, okay, we used a bunch of our ultimates to team fight. We know they're going to get aggressive. Do you just like do the thing where you like sit together on a high ground?
Yeah.
Do you like play a lot of split pushing?
I think you camp a ward. That's usually one of my favorite ones. You sit on a high ground and camp a ward and wait for them to smoke into you, especially into your jungle here, which you kind of anticipate them to, but this is a really heads-up move here by 5 men. You know, those ults are down. They're probably not expecting you to go into the Roche Pit either. It gets scanned, though.
Question is, can they actually stop it? The dagger's going to come on through. Ooh. But they're just going to keep on going here.
Sidesteps it. Pi, look at this. Pops the heal preemptively, just stands and faces them.
Just going to run in, upheaval. looking to kind of, again, put something in the pit that maybe makes 5 men skittish, but they're not scared at all. The dagger comes through, though, and gets the last hit. Well timed by Crystallize.
How much XP did he get for that? He probably got actually a decent chunk. I think he might have been like the only one in range for the XP because the rest of his teammates were all on the high ground there. All right, good snipe. Actually pretty huge for a Spectre.
Yeah, real massive.
Pasha denies the rune from Chessie.
A spiteful stun from Chessie. He wanted that power rune, but it's not for him.
Time to get those neutral items. 18 minutes. 1 minute passed. Everyone's going to farm jungle. Crystallize has fully caught back up. Still a little bit behind Ace. But with the way that this game is going, you know, this is a Spectre lineup with Warlock where I don't believe 5 men has pressed the issue forward enough here to have that good feeling for themselves just yet. As
the Remnant pull back. Good amount of magic damage. Immersion trying to use that stolen spin to be able to get away from Ace here. Ace is going to pursue. A lot of healing coming out from Ilias as well, and Ace is finding that he's run out of damage. Now the Golem's going to get dropped with York on top of the Brewmaster. Zibe gets popped like that. And now the Spectre can jump forward and grab another. With the Aether Remnant pullback, they're going to be able to get Misery. Pasha, Yule's Scepter on up on Ace, trying to slow him down. But eventually they're going to run out of disables here, and they don't want to just dive into Chessie underneath a tier 1 tower. Yet another successful team fight for NaVi.
Great positioning for them, and it seems every single time it's like, oh, well, you know, we got everything back up in time before you guys look to actually make your aggressive move. That rock gets dropped again. And that Orchid, like we said, big problems for the Brew. As now, though, Blink from Chessie. Do they have enough for Pasha?
Double hop away, but he is so slowed down at this point. He's not going to be able to get out of this. Dissimulate will buy him a little bit more time, but he still has so much more time until Astral steps back up. I will say, NaVi, they look a lot better when they have this sort of this better, like late game, better team fight trap card they can throw down. When they can let the enemy kind of run into them and respond. It seems like when they just don't have a good idea of like being the one setting the tempo. But on the other side of the coin, they look great like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking super good, and they know it's like you always have that. It's in the back of your head too the whole time. It's just like, you know, we're leading right now. Late game is invested. Late game is secured for us if we get to that point with this type of lead building up and building up. Young G definitely fixing his game from the last one.
Yeah.
Almost has a BKB finished up on top of this Orchid. Rotations have all kind of worked in his favor, even though they've actually moved. They've been the rotations that have gone into him. He's just been there to react. Pi found in no man's land.
It'll take a little bit. Thanks to Strength Treads and Bracers. But eventually it goes down. Misery, though. He actually gets caught in the bottom lane as well. And Zibe!
They commit a split for this. They have to get this kill.
He does manage to get the tornado off, and I think with that, with the Dragon Tail stun,
nice
Orchid. Pursuit, though, he does get the stun now. The blink is up, but Zibe, his ultimate is worn off. Young G's got to be able to get out.
Oh, they weren't able to proc the Drunken Haze. Didn't quite clap on him there at the end there. So close to end the kill, and that's Bruce Split committed. That's really painful. NaVi they can do anything now.
Yep.
Pretty much on the map for the next 3 minutes. They're going to have Golem up pretty soon, too, for themselves.
NaVi, they pretty much copy some of 5 men's drafts from game 1. And they make it look good. Stun goes down. Pasha should be just fine for now anyway.
Misery wasn't quite in time there to get that blink off to get the catch follow-up. He does at least have the blink at a pretty good timing that we didn't touch upon, but yeah, just a little slow there.
Big catch the Brewmaster.
Again. He's got the hood. Not quite enough to keep him alive, though.
Even though they've gotten the Aegis for themselves, it's 5 men who have been losing fights for the last 2 or 3 minutes as they're going to get another pick off, this time on Pile I Die. NaVi seems like very similar to 5 men about this time, game 1, where they felt very confident. We're just kind of running. Navi's doing the same thing. They're just kind of running at 5 men. They sense when they have an advantage and are capitalizing on it really well.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, during this moment especially, right? Like, Brewmaster ult down, DK ult down. You guys don't have anything to respond to us unless we trickle in one by one. That's the only thing they really had to be worried about versus this Lion. And yeah, they really do just rely so much on the Brewmaster the more when you look at it, right? Lion and Enchantress as your 2 supports. These 2 they're really going to start to fall off.
They can also be pretty cooldown dependent. Finger of Death, Primal Split, Dragon Form. Now, this game still has some legs in it, for sure. It's far from over. But judging by how this first 25 minutes has gone, how much of it would you say is the draft? Because it's got to be noted that, you know, they did copy a lot of what 5 men had in game 1, and this game seems to be going very well. So, was it the draft?
I mean, it really does feel like it, right? It feels like even though 5 men is trying to make these moves, they're just getting matched out by this Queen of Pain and this Warlock. These 2 heroes they're clicking their ults on these, and even though 5 men are making the aggressive moves in the right place, they're not able to actually have it successful versus these great counter initiators.
One thing I've been surprised is the Void Spirit feels just as potent as it did in game 1.
Yeah,
except
exactly.
It's off lane, and it had kind of a rough start.
I felt like that bottom lane was going to go a bit better for 5 men. I feel like that first botch where they don't get that kill, it really hurts Ace's game because he had what, like 5 last hits compared to like the 10 of the Void Spirit or something at that point too. I feel like that lane was probably the biggest one that I'm looking at that should have gone better for them.
Yeah, I mean they just straight up had the Enchantress counter to like, you know, he pops his what's his third ability called on
Resonant Pulse.
Resonant Pulse, thank you. He puts up the shield. You dispel it and slow him down. It feels like a good opportunity to really punish that hero. But.
Yep. And then you're a melee hero versus Jug when you're very slow, which is not the greatest. But you have a lot of, you have a lot of armor and you have a lot of your base damage. So if you do end up not dying to the spin, you can turn and actually get a good lane. And now it's really just been chain deaths across the board for 5 men. That feels like actually what, like 9 kills in a row or something, or 10 kills in a row, 4-19. It's another one, 4-20.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, look at this quap. 10-1-6, 16 of the 20 kills. Orchid BKB, perfect itemization.
And I like how he's protecting the lead that he has with the Linken's follow-up as well.
Right. It's a good Linken's game, though, right? He's playing versus Lion as well as DK. It's pretty great.
For sure.
Pasha walks up without much fear. When the Lion is dead, there's not really the craziest amount of lockdown, just that DK. And Spectre's we can say like not critical mass, but the point where he just ruins your poor supports and doesn't let them play.
Well, 26 minutes in. 4-20 with an 8,000 net worth lead for NaVi and a second Roshan that's going to be coming up soon. So we're going to take a quick look back at one kill as we bounce back into the game where, it's not a big deal. It's just old Pylai Die performing his signature move, which is die, die, die.
Die, die, die.
But yeah, I feel like if this game's going to turn around for 5 men, it's going to be with this next Roshan.
They have to try to catch people that are like trickled in 1 by 1 or out of position. Like they have to try to find this Warlock in the back line.
Okay, well, starting off with an initiation onto the Rubik, that would be nice if they could pop him real quickly, but Jesse doesn't output the damage to do it by himself, and Pasha already kind of got in on that back line, and Misery took him out. What a big sonic wave. I think that hit all 3 cores with the telekinesis drop on top. Woo! This is looking like it's a stomp, just like game 1.
Yeah, this is definitely over now. Jug, you have a Jug DK Brew lineup, and your Jug DK Brew have died 3, 4, 5 times in a row on the 3 of them there. These cores, they're all about setting the tempo. Once you start dying like this, it really is a snowball effect for them. And yeah, this one's definitely in the bag here for NaVi. They never get into the back lines. They never can actually find this Warlock in the back. And it's just like every single time he's just like, okay, Brock, Fatal Bond, Upheaval, free game for Ilias to just get all his spells off.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Well, 5 men, they certainly can't afford to buy back. That would just kind of ruin their games, but then again, can't really afford to be given up. A mid lane of Barracks up against a lineup that has better late game either.
I'm surprised they didn't call it there, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
With their lineup, but okay, Zibia has a Midas apparently. I just saw, so I guess they're going for the big comeback, but they don't scale like NaVi does.
Slacks, what went wrong?
Clearly not ready.
Slacks is bullying
Slacks
us.
is yelling at us to keep filling. That's why I was cutting to you, Slacks. I thought you were going to give me an amusing thing to pass on to the audience. Instead, you berated me.
It looks like they're going to try for one or two more team fights, but
Yeah.
I just saw the Brewmaster pick up a Midas, so I thought maybe he's just like they're trying to go for the later stage, but they're going to look for this last fight. BKB
They
Blink.
got scanned.
Oh, and they got hit by that too. And Navi's going to back up. They were trying to take advantage of the Warlock ult being down and everything too, but now Haunt's going to be back. And
This
they don't
feels like
find anyone.
that smoke move to bottom that Navi did in game 1, where it
Yeah.
was like it was the last hurrah.
They're like, oh, Roche? Yeah, let's go to Roche.
Yeah.
Oh, God. This is probably where it's going to be disaster. Sonic Wave back up.
Ah, nice.
Haunt back up.
They had the courier
Courier's
there.
chilling. Ooh, what is that courier, too? What does that affect?
Yeah, it's
sick.
got some...
Curry has been killed.
Well, Crystallize does lose his courier, but it doesn't really matter. Look at the circle round. They're going to make sure there's no retreat possible. Immediately back into the back line. Misery goes down with the double silence going out. And it looks like Warlock could be in trouble before he actually gets anything off. He doesn't have the golem anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Sonic Wave from Young G. Okay, that doesn't quite finish anybody off, but Ace goes down, and there goes most of your damage with that. And GG is called immediately by Misery. Once their carry is down, there's not many options for 5 men. So, okay. We've got a real series on our hand. I thought it was just going to be a real quick 2-0, judging by that game 1, but apparently not the case.